Good morning. This video is going to be on portfolio assessments for the West Virginia State homeschoolers. I'm not going to be talking about any other laws, just the portfolio segment of the law. Okay. If you file under the notice option, that means that you are telling them or notifying them that you are homeschooling. So under that option, you have to have an assessment done every year. That assessment can be a portfolio assessment, it can be testing, but you have to do one on your child for each grade every year. Now, you only have to submit to the Board of Education your assessment for grades 3, 5, 8, and 11, and that is it. You still have to do the assessment or have it done. You just have to submit it on those grades only. So I just wanted to clarify that. I had someone ask me the other day, you have to have an assessment every year. I thought the law changed. The law did change. You still have to have an assessment every year. You just only have to give them a copy of it for those grades. Again, it's 3, 5, 8, and 11. So, portfolio assessments are basically samples of your child's work. So I have, a sample here that I put together for 7th grade. I covered up my son's name because I might go ahead and put this on YouTube. This is our portfolio assessment for 7th grade, and it's just in a 1-inch binder. Cheap, Dollar General. I think I paid $1 for it. Okay. And it has the clear pocket in the front where I slid down his name and the school year and the grade he's in. Now, inside, I'm not going to show inside because his name and everything's in here, but inside, on the very first cover, I place a letter to my certified teacher that's doing my portfolio evaluation. By the way, this does not have to be a West Virginia State teacher, certified teacher. The law says it has to be a certified teacher. So if they are not a West Virginia State certified teacher, then I would go ahead and put a copy of their teaching certificate in there as well on the years that you have to send the assessment in to the board office. So back to this, the first page on here, I do a cover letter. I just explain what we did this year, what we focused on, what our strengths were, what we need to work on, just to give the reviewer a heads up on you know what happened this year. One year I went through breast cancer, and you know, we slacked off on school a little bit, and I explained that, but I also explained how my son went with me to some radiation treatments. He got to ring the bell with me, and when I was finished, and so these are learning experiences, but they really do need to know if there's big events going on in your life or big changes, so they can take that into consideration when they're doing your review. Okay, and then I put a list of the curriculum I use. This is not required, I don't think, no. But I just go ahead, and I know him personally. He's a friend of ours that goes to our church. So, I just kind of give him heads up about what curriculum we use, and I put pictures in there. I can go ahead and show you these, I guess. I go ahead and run pictures off on some activities and school things that we've done. I have a Christmas play that my son was in, but basically I have tabs here, and of the 5 subjects. It's math, reading, history, science, and language arts. Now for reading, I usually will just put a book list in there on the books that he read. Sometimes I'll put in some, like if he read a page and answered some questions, I might put that in there, but usually it's just the book list. But on the other subjects, I usually put at least 5 samples in there for the reviewer to review. Now, some reviewers want a lot more than that. Some reviewers, 5 is sufficient. So you need to make sure that you're open and honest with your reviewer, number 1. And number 2, ask them what they want to see inside their review or portfolio. They might want tests or something like that. But I will tell you that I would only recommend sending in or putting in the portfolio what is required by law. So if your portfolio reviewer wants attendance records, how many days of school you did, how many hours you spent in a subject, something like that, that's not required by law. So I would be looking for another portfolio reviewer. On the other hand, if you're comfortable with that and that's what you want to do, that's fine. But again, you only have to provide in the portfolio what the law requires. And the law requires samples of each subject, the 5 subjects. Again, science, math, language arts, history, and reading. So, I think basically that's it. I always put in there a form, a portfolio form for them. All they have to do, I always fill out sorry, I'm jumping all over. I always fill out the student's name, the date, and the school year. Their date of birth is not required by law. So the only thing on this sheet is what's required by law. There's not a grade on here either, like my son's in 7th grade or my son's in 5th grade. This is 5th grade work. It's not required. The only thing required is the student's name and the school year, the date, and then of course the teacher's signature. And down below it has a certified teacher, which they would check, and that says other person manually agreed upon by parent, student, and superintendent. Sometimes, like our local public school has someone that they recognize to do portfolio reviews, even though they're not a certified teacher. They've been approved by the board. So, but that's here and there. So I just mark certified teacher. And then down below it says, I do not feel there's any academic areas reviewed in which the student needs improvement. Or after review and evaluation, I feel the student needs improvement in. So, and then the teacher will mark one of those two. If you're a member of HSLDA, you don't need this. All you have to do is go to their website and they have a portfolio review form right on there. You can print out for free as long as you're a member. Now, last thing, when you have to send this into the board, again, for grades 3, 5, 7, and 3, 5, 8, and 11, send it certified with a receipt requested. You know, the little green card. This little green card you will get back that proves that they received it. There's a lot of people locally that just walk in there and hand it to them and have them sign it saying they received it. I don't recommend that. From personal experience, I really don't want to have a relationship or communicate with the board office for this, because this homeschool is my business, and the less they know, the better. They only need to know what the law requires them to know. And that is what I'm sending them in a certified letter. And they sign the card, and the card comes back to me, so I know they received it. The one last thing I want to discuss is the driver's license form. Now, I'm not really up to date on what's going on, but they're trying to do away with the issue. But the issue is, if you have a child that is in 10th grade and they want their driving permit, and you go, in our state, we have to call the board office or the school, the high school, and they will give us a proof of enrollment form that we have to take to the DMV. What is happening is they will not give us that enrollment form until we provide the past year's assessment. Now, if the law says that we only have to turn in an assessment for 8th grade and 11th grade, you know, around the age group, then we didn't have to turn one in for 9th grade. We did it, but we didn't turn it in. So they're requesting that we give them that assessment for 9th grade in order to receive that proof of enrollment form. I think that's terrible. I think that's wrong because the law does not say that we have to do that. But it's a loophole they found to get the assessment in order to give us that form. So, good news is my son is going to be 15 in a couple weeks, and he's in 9th grade, and we turned in our 8th grade assessment. So we will be getting his permit before the end of the year. Therefore, when they ask, they won't need to ask for last year's because they already have it. So I know that HSLDA are fighting right now to change all this. I'm not up to date on what's going on. I've been busy, but hopefully that will change. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can post down below any questions that you might have. Again, this is just for the state of West Virginia laws. Every state has different homeschool laws. So if you're homeschooling in your state, it is your responsibility to make sure you follow those laws. It's not your homeschool coordinator's responsibility to fill you in on those laws. It's not the public school's responsibility to make sure that you know all the laws. It is yours. You are the parent. You are taking control of your child's education, so you need to know the laws before you start homeschooling. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're out of state, just contact your local homeschool coordinator. There's homeschool groups all over the country, you guys. It is growing at a tremendous rate. Last time I read an article, said there was over 2 million homeschoolers in this country. So that's wonderful. Thanks for watching and have a great homeschool year.